Hey folks, this is Gene from Regular Guy Mountain Biking. Thanks for tuning in to another bike check. Tonight we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to talk to my friend Brian Vaughn. He actually went on the first BKXC Chasing Epic mountain bike trip, and he said, hey Gene, let's get together and talk about it, and let me tell your folks what it's all about. So stay tuned. We got some exciting information coming your way. Hey folks, once again, thanks for tuning in to Bike Chat on Regular Guy Mountain Biking. Tonight, we're going to talk to my friend Brian Vaughn. You've probably seen him on a couple videos before. He's been on the Bike Check before. He's been on the Bike Chat before. He's been on the Bike Check before. You see him all over the place. Tonight, we're going to talk about his adventure on Brian Kennedy, BKXC, his Chasing Epic trip. So, first of all, this is Brian's idea, which I think is a killer idea. Thanks for coming up with the idea, Brian. Cool, man.
Well, thanks for having me on and accepting the topic.
Yeah, it'll be a good deal. The deal is this, though. I'm mentioning Brian, BKXC, Chasing Epic. You know, not everyone even knows what this actually is, right? So before we get into the details around what it is, let's tell people what it actually is. So just, you know, in the Cliff Note commercial version over this thing, what is this thing we're talking about tonight?
So Chasing Epic is a mountain biking adventure company. So they have different getaways. They're 4-day trips in the southwest of the United States, and you go out there, and they will, you can ride your bike. And they have local tour guides who will show you the trails, walk you through. They'll set up all the transportation to the trails. You get your lodging. They take care of meals. You have the option to rent the bike through them, but it's a pretty cool company. They offer public and private trips, and you can, it's a interesting trip. It's a fun trip for mountain bikers to go out and see some of these areas you've heard about, like Crescent Butte, Moab, St. George. They go into Angel Fire, New Mexico.
Wow.
So a lot of these cool, mountain bike destinations that you always want to go to. They have trips that you can go join them and actually see the places with a tour guide who knows how to ride these trails.
See, that's what's awesome, because a lot of these places are kind of hard for us to even get to, even if we wanted to get to. And then here I am showing up with my bike, and I'm like, I don't even know where I'm at. What am I supposed to do? So Chasing Epic is an organization that pretty much puts together these mountain bike adventures. Now, this was actually something, a package thing that was put together by our friends. His name is Brian Kennedy. He runs BKXC. It's a mountain biking YouTube channel. I'll have links to all of this if you don't know who Brian is. So a little bit on that. And this is Brian Vaughn that we're talking to. So Brian Vaughn, a little bit on how that worked. You did this through Brian Kennedy. Just a little bit of how this whole thing was put together.
So this trip was. I was given a link, or I was notified about this trip was an opportunity, and there was a dedicated webpage on the Chasing Epic website where I could book the site. I could book it through there, and I listed all of the the things we would do and what we get for the trip, and the cost. But this was, the trip that I went on actually was more of I think it was the public option, but it was run through BKXC.
Gotcha.
I know that they've got 2 upcoming trips. Like one's BKXC has a private trip coming up, and I know that Single Track Sampler has a private trip as well coming up.
Awesome. So let's talk about the trip. First of all, where was this trip at? I don't know if we mentioned this one yet. Where did you go for this adventure?
I went to St. George, Utah.
Strange. Have you ever been to St. George, Utah before?
Never been there before.
Awesome. So this was your first experience to go to St. George. Have you ever done any riding like that kind of riding before?
No, most of my mountain biking has been just in the Midwest. I had like a couple days I was in Vail, and we just did a little bit at the bike, just going on the mountain there, but nothing compared to what we did in St. George. It's it's a really cool location. It's just beautiful red rock, a lot of slick rock there as well. big, huge mesas that you ride around. It's like nothing I've ridden before. Sure.
Brian has a channel, and I've watched a lot of his videos, and I'm going to post some pictures throughout this video of your trip and some video as well. And so, yeah, I'm comparing what I'm seeing on this screen with your pictures to what I know I've seen you ride, and I'm like, this is night and day, dude, right? This is like not even the same. So, couple things I saw. First of all, are you afraid of heights? Because I am. God bless you, dude. Because I am so afraid of heights. Some of the pictures, folks, if not the pictures, some of the video I got to watch. I'm watching them going, and I'm looking, and I'm like, dude, there's like nothing. So this is like you're really in the canyons on like the cliffs. Like, damn.
Yeah, a part of the Gem Trail is right through like a river valley, and you are literally like 2 feet from the edge.
I'm already freaking out.
And it's and I've never ridden an exposure like that because typically where I ride is all tree, so there's normally trees down there, so you're not seeing, there's not just edge cliff. So I'm sitting there riding, and I'm just like, just look forward, keep going. Don't worry about it. Just go right. Look where you want to ride.
Right.
And I'm like, the GoPro will capture the view.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And the view, exactly. Let the GoPro capture the view, and let not be a view of you kind of going, doing like Phew, man. Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, that was one of the first things I picked up when I took a look at some of the video, because I don't do heights well at all. But I got to say, the scenery was amazing. It looked like it was a great place. So Chasing Epic picked a great place. It looked gorgeous. But since you're not used to that kind of riding, for folks that may not have been to this kind of place, can you compare it to anything, or how did you feel you were doing? I mean, I have nothing to add here. I'll watch the video. I can't even say, oh, it looks a lot like when I went to so and so. I haven't done this yet.
So it's super rocky, and in some spots was a little bit dusty. The parts where I struggled probably the most was when we were riding the Red Rock in Gooseberry Mesa and Little Creek Mesa. So we were those Red Rock sections where it's not a huge climb. You're not climbing 2,000 feet at these places, but you're going to be going up and down these little rocks. And There's a couple spots where it's tricky technical riding more than anything else.
Gotcha.
For just to condition myself and preparing, I was doing trainer road and working out and making sure that I was getting in plenty of indoor rides, because I took the trip in April, and out here in the winter I don't ride outside much at all. So just getting some rides on inside and making sure that I was in condition to actually go out and bike. They tell us they're going to try and do 80 miles of riding over the 4 days. So you got to think about that's 20 miles a day.
Wow, that's a lot.
Really, it is. But when you think about it, you really do. You spread it out throughout the day. So it's not. It really. We ended up only doing 60 miles because of one day we ended up cutting short because of the weather. It got. It snowed when we were in Utah, so it was crazy.
Yeah, a little.
It was cold. And we got a little. The last day was there was second to last day, there was a more technical option that only some of the group went and did that ride.
Gotcha. So what do you Oh, first of all, we'll get into what you like best and but did you camp, or I think you sent me a link that you stated like what? Just give a little idea for the folks, because I think some of these folks might have to watch this and kind of say, "Ooh, I wanted to go on, but I wasn't sure," or maybe now I'll go and do this. What are you getting into?
So the place you stay at is, it's like a 4-star condo.
Nice.
The place we were at. I think we had 3 rooms, or 3 apartments, I should say. And each of the apartments had 3 different bedrooms. I didn't. So some people could have paid more to have a single room, but I chose to just room up with somebody, so I had 2 people in my room. So it was, it's really nice, big beds. Really, I mean, it was a really nice place. I sent you a link to some pictures of it, but it was it's a condo on a golf resort.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it was
awesome.
great. it was great. It was for all with we had first floor, so we just rolled our bikes in the room,
Mm-hmm.
and it was the accommodations were excellent.
Did
it
you?
Was above my expectations.
Did you make some friends on this event? You get to kind of meet some people that maybe you might not have ever met, or some that you maybe chatted, or like who did you ride with?
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of the people were subscribers from BKXC's from
Sure.
this trip. A couple of his friends were there from that you've seen from some of his California rides.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting to see because you had people from Texas, you had people from Colorado,
Mm-hmm.
A couple guys from the East Coast, a couple guys from the California. It was interesting to see. I wasn't sure how many people or how age group, and
Sure.
I'd say it was a little bit older group. Me being like probably the middle age, in the 40s. There's
Right.
one guy a little older. There's a couple guys that were a little younger. I've met one guy from Minneapolis, and we've gone and ridden a couple times.
Oh, that's awesome. So you met someone somewhat local to you, and you got to go ride with them again.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. So, now, real quick, I just got to take a quick break over here just for a minute. Folks, just trying to help feed the RGMTB bank account a little bit over here. So I want to send out 2 plugs over here to a couple companies that help support the channel. Number one, Worldwide Cyclery. Worldwide Cyclery really helps out regular guy mountain biking. In fact, they really helped me out with the bike build that I did just a little while ago. I'll have links to that. So Worldwide Cyclery, great online bike shop, as well as they have 2 different locations. So Worldwide Cyclery, thumbs up. Check those guys out. Click the link. Take a look at what they have. And, of course, James Wilson, the Catalyst pedal, another big supporter of regular guy mountain biking. He's the guy that makes those big platform pedals that I actually love. And I definitely check out those pedals. I'll have links to all this. So just quick shout out to those 2 folks for help supporting regular guy mountain biking. So that was it, real quick. Now let's go back to Brian. So now, Brian, my friend, what was probably the most exciting thing that you had happen or see? What was the most exciting thing on the trip?
Some of the descents on the Gem Trail were really fun. We were going pretty fast down the trail.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple spots there that really were like wow, and from pure just adrenaline of riding the bike.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, and nothing you're really used to because the terrain you have on, you can't even say like we were saying before. It's like there weren't even any trees there. I'm looking at the video and everything. It's just desert, man. It's brown,
Mm-hmm.
So now, is there anything that kind of gave you the white knuckle? Were you ever at any point you were kind of like, oh damn, dude, I did it. Why the hell, Brian? You son of a.
So that was one thing that I consider myself an advanced intermediate bike.
Okay.
And I will normally can ride a Black Diamond Trail. I'll ride if I see something I'll walk it. And there were a couple spots where we went down some double Black Diamond sections.
Really?
And in one spot I tried it and it was so loose and dusty. I just felt that bike just diving on me, and I was like, okay, no, I'm not going to happen. I'm going to walk. There were a couple, and when we were at the Gem, or when we were at Gooseberry, there were a couple spots where it's just a boulder and you can just roll down. And those were some of those where I was like, yeah, it was pretty steep going down. That was,
but they're pretty grippy, right? I could only tell you from what I've heard. It's like, why do they call it slick rock then? Because it's not really slick, right? I mean, it's like almost like sandpaper.
Yeah, so it's slick is because of like the horseshoes. When they first came out there, the horses would slip and slide all over it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, if you put rubber on there, and it's just like it is like totally like sandpaper.
Awesome.
And you can really ride some really steep stuff and be perfectly fine with it with the slick rock. But it's just an angle I've never seen my bike before. You know?
Yeah. And then this bike, you rented a bike, right? So you didn't have to even bring anything. You had a pretty good bike there. It was all tuned up and ready for you to go. So that must have made life a little. You don't have to pack anything, shove it on the plane or anything like that. You just showed up with your gear.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. So I would say I did bring a tube. I brought a shock pump. I bought a multi-tool. Mm-hmm. But I had an Ibis Mojo 3 that was fairly tuned up for me. I would say that any advice I would say to anyone who goes out there to feel free to play around with the bikes.
Okay.
And so like I kind of like after the first day I pumped the shock up a little bit more just because I felt it was a little bit too divey for me.
Sure.
And I know a couple guys like adjusted the stems and adjusted some just to make it a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, those are fine tuning things.
Yeah.
I mean, they can only do so much. That especially the air pressure. They're going to say, what kind of rider are you? How much do you weigh? And they're going to go by put this much pressure. That's all they really can do, right? I mean, to go through everybody and set the sag and let you try it out and everything. That's a lot to do for every single person, and you really can't. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Bring some tools to tune it up and everything like that. But other than that, you had your backpack, brought some stuff, and your helmet, and you just had a freaking awesome time.
Yeah, exactly. They recommend bringing your own seats, and they recommend bringing your own pedals. So
yeah, I would definitely do that.
And you definitely want to bring your seat. We had a couple guys who like the seat that was on the bike they didn't really comfortable with, and we had one guy who actually didn't ride one day because saddle sores.
Yeah.
So you definitely want to make sure you're bringing.
Never would have thought of that.
Yeah, that was I made sure I had a chamois for each day.
Okay.
And and good chamois because when you're thinking you're gonna be on the bike when you're on the bike when you're riding 20 miles, we're doing this over 3-4 hours, so you're on the bike for a while, so you want to make sure you're pretty comfortable.
That's good advice. I didn't even think of that. I mean, the pedals I can understand. I like my pedals. I want to ride my pedals. But I never even thought about the seat. That's pretty smart. Yeah, bring your own seat, and then the rest of the clothes. I mean, 80 miles. I've never done that much in that length of time before ever. So that's a lot. That's a lot of your butt.
Yeah, you're in this.
Thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. Well, but it sounds like you had a good time, right? And the pictures and the video look like it. So you would definitely recommend this to someone to go and do. Would you do it again?
I definitely would be doing it again. I'm hoping to do it again next year. I think one of the things that really was great when I came back was after riding some of the stuff out there, I felt a lot more confident riding the stuff I had here.
Some
of the things that I was like maybe not so sure about. It was great to go out and be like, okay, I know I can do that and feel much more comfortable about that sort of stuff.
That's cool. So look, Brian, it looks like you had an awesome time, and I want to thank you for coming up with this idea. I didn't think of this. It's an awesome idea because we all like to support Brian. He's an awesome dude, but also to go on adventures like this, I know they cost a couple dollars. This isn't a cheap vacation. So you just want to make sure that you're going to have a good time. And I think, we got a thumbs up from you on this one, right?
Yeah, you definitely did. I highly recommend going out there. Take a look at what trips they have, and they actually do rate on technical ability and height, and so you can get an idea of what's going to be good for you.
Perfect. Well, folks, thanks a lot for tuning in. Brian, thanks a lot for the idea. There'll be more of these bike chats. Maybe one of these days I'll get to go on one of these adventures. I hopefully get to ride with you one of these, Brian. All I'm ever doing is virtually talking to you. So one day I want to actually physically shake your hand. Yeah, that'd be great. So anyway, my friends, keep the party on the pedals, everyone. And I guess we'll catch you all later on. See you later, my friends. Bye-bye.